our keynote speaker for the morning, Shri Jagadish Maiya, Vice President and Head of APAC Engineering, Newfold Digital. Jagadish Maiya ji is a Vice President and Head of Engineering at Newfold Digital with over 3 decades of global IT leadership experience at Cisco and Newfold Digital. Bringing together corporate leadership and social purpose, he serves as President of Prakarsha Academy and is former President of Youth for Seva, where he has championed institution building and leadership development in the non-profit sector. Vinobha Bhave says, there is nothing more powerful than love put into action. That brings us to the point of discussion for the day. Catalyzing impact, building stronger non-profits for the future. Join your hands together with me to invite Sri Jagdish Maiya onto the stage, please.
So usually whenever these kind of speeches happen, we don't want to go out of the course. So we want to stay in the course. So the best thing is always the Vivekananda is there. We may be kind of basically a speck of dust, but the good thing is, as Vivekananda says, all of us are immortals. All of us are actually lions. Don't think that we are just the sheeps. So we are the dust of that iron speck, but Vivekananda is the North Pole. So he is the one. When we kind of think of him, then we will align in the backdrop of India, where he says strives for one's own growth and for the welfare of the world. Anybody knows what is the Sanskrit equivalent of his famous quoting? What does this mean in our Indian language? Atmano mokshartam. Parimalaji says Atmano mokshartam jagat hitayacha. The two things. You should uplift yourself first. You should transform yourself first. You should become very capable. Then only you can go and change the whole world. So then the second thing. Mane geddu uru gellu, as they say. Even DBG says, Runama ತೀರಿಸಬೇಕು, ಋಣಮ ತೀರಿಸಬೇಕು, ಋಣಮ ತೀರಿಸುತ್ತೆ ಜಗದ ಆದಿ ಸತ್ವವನ್ನು ಜನದಿ ಕಾಣುತ್ತವರಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದುಗೂಡಲು ಬೇಕು, ಮನೆಯೊಳಗೆ ಮಠ ನಿನಗೆ ಮಂಕುತಿಮ್ಮ. Vivekananda is the best example of, he also, for him, ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಮನೆ ಯಾವುದು? The whole universe, the whole world is his house. Still he constructed institutions, not just one or two, many, starting from Vedanta Society in New York, all the way to RK Mission and RK Mutt. So ಅವರು ಒಂದು 2 ಮಠವನ್ನು ಕಟ್ಟಿದ್ರು, ಮಠ ಮತ್ತು RK Mission. And the motto of that organization is Atmano Mokshartham Jagat Hitayacha. So once we kind of align with that, then that is the Adhara Shruti, the keynote. So I will come back to this as the key theme till we end the program, till at least my session is over. The next slide. So now usually I start off with a big picture, right? What is the landscape? What is the lay of the land? And as you can imagine, definitely that I am not an expert. So obviously I will ask all the so-called experts. In today's world, who are the so-called experts? Which is all the AI agents, the Grok, the ChatGPT, Gemini, Claude. So I asked at least 4 or 5 AI agents about what is the big picture here? What is that third sector? And as you can imagine, that there is no consistent picture. There is no clarity. But you will get some kind of a thing. It is similar to like blind people touching the elephant. And as you can imagine, what they're experiencing is not wrong. The subjective experience of every person is right. They may not have the universal one big picture, but individually they have all the right to say whatever they have touched. So the synthesis is where you need some brain, some understanding. So that is what we should try to gather the big picture based on all those pieces. Okay. So I'll start off with the good news. What is the good news about the third sector? Before that, there is a question. When I said third sector, what is that third sector called as? There are, by the way, 3 sectors. What is the first and second? Why we are called as the third sectors? Sorry?
Organized, unorganized.
Yeah, you are right. Exactly, right? I mean, and there's a better word for it. The public, exactly. Venkatesh Murthy knows and all, right? It is public sector is the first one. The governance and all that is, the government and associated, all the machinery, from the Prime Minister to the last person who serves in the government and the public and the governance space. The second one is the private, or all the companies where the money comes in, where the GST flows in, where all the resources comes in. So first one is all the Rajaniti, then comes all the resources. So they are the first and second sectors, public, private. Then the third one is social, right? So that social sector, if you look at the good news, is about how many NGOs are out there. So when you search on it, you get various numbers. So at least if you go to Darpan ID website and all, yes, it is about more than 5 lakh NGOs are there. But that includes education institutions, hospitals, religious institutions, charitables, all sorts of RWS, everything. So for the NGO space, I could not get a single one number. About one third would be typically really active. So from 5 lakhs, it may be hardly about 2 lakhs active organization. Within that, maybe half of them or less than half would be NGOs. Still, it amounts to close to 1 lakh NGOs minimum in the whole country. I'm talking about. Out of that 1 lakh, about 15,000 are FCRA. About 15,000 are FCRA approved, where they can receive the grants from the outside of India. So that is the active FCRA. So with that, you can make out that if 15,000 NGOs are there who are receiving money, then easily about 5 times or 6 times more than that would be other NGOs who are not yet FCA approved. So you will get more than 1 lakh NGOs. Second one is 25 lakh crore. That amounts to 8% of our GDP. What is this? This is the social and charitable capital. From all the money that collected from the taxes and the GST and from everywhere that we collect, 8% of that is invested back to the society. Okay, and that is like 25 lakh crore out of our close to $4 trillion economy. It is a huge number. Okay, now from there, if you distill it, it is close to 60,000 crore plus. Okay, it is from the CSR and FCRA. The CSR fund this year or whatever the last 12 months, it has been about close to 35 to 40,000 crores. And me and Anand were speaking, where is the FCRA portion? Long back till recently, the FCRA money used to be the substantial one. Then he was saying that hardly there are about 10% to 15% maybe the FCRA funds. Still that is substantial. The FCRA last year was 25,000 crores. Okay, just to set the things in perspective, 20,000 crores is the budget for GPA, BBMP, the Bangalore budget. For 1 year, we spend on all infrastructure, everything, it is 20,000 crore. So 25,000 crores of FCRA money comes into the country. More than that, close to 40,000 crores comes from the India CSR 2% profit. And then adding all of them from the government and everybody, it is 25 lakh crore. Okay, while all those things happening, then who all are the beneficiaries or our community partner, who gets impacted, who gets benefited? If you do a math, I was also surprised. Okay, it is like 90% of the Indian population, one way or the other, those 8 to 8.3% of the GDP reaches them through various education institutions, or the you visit a temple, you visit a hospital, you visit a school, you be part of any of these kind of public amenities. Then all of them, that means almost there is not even a single Indian soul who is spared or from the grace of the social sector. So in that sense, we should feel proud. That is the good news. And yeah, if you want little bit of one level below, where is all that money going? You said like 60,000 crore available for foreign funds plus Sears alone, not just the government grants and other bigger foundations grants. Then there is no surprise here. It is education, healthcare, rural development are the top three. Immediately the woman and child, environmental sustainability, then disability and social justice, and then other. So it all adds up. So the top 50 plus is all about education and health, and about the planet health and sustainability another 10%, right? So this is where, so based on where your NGO is, if you want to diversify, you should know this is the percentage of the fund allocation that happens from those 60,000. So continuing the good news, okay. So there is a paradigm shift happening in NGOs also. Definitely they are also evolving. Just like how the world is evolving, NGOs and the social sector is also a reflection of the world. So it is also kind of changing. The whole NGO space, or giving back to our Indian ethos. But the dana would usually come, as Vivekananda says, with little bit of sympathy and karune. Ayo papa, noda kaglilla, kasta ondo 10 ರೂಪಾಯಿ ಹಾಕಿದೆ, right? It starts from that. So from the Dana, then the NGOs came where then they have become the gap filler. What government wants, what other companies want, then there is a gap between what happens in the ground. So there is a delta between haves and have-nots. So for the haves and have-nots gap, that bridge, it was built by the NGOs of the yesterdays. Today, then they are becoming the strategic partners already. So all the NGO sectors, they are the strategic partners with the government, with the CSR, with everybody else, with the society, and then they have become the oil and the glue. They are the binding force between the other two sectors. Okay, and going forward tomorrow, it is no longer just I'm a partner. It is no longer I'm a strategic partner, but I am also a kind of co-creator of the Vikasik Bharat. Like for the next 20 plus 1 years, if you really want to become the developed country, then we definitely need to invest in each and everything. Like whatever show a small picture there are about 17 UN advocated sustainable development goals about the people, about they becoming prosperity, about having peace and justice, about the planet Earth. There are about 17 such goals. Those are the areas where if the NGOs of the tomorrow work on it today, then only that Vikasita Bharat, Atmanirbhar Bharat, the Make in India, everything can happen. Okay. And sorry, previous slide. So as you can see here, Dr. Abdul Kalamji said, NGOs are the soul of our democracy. So we are a functioning democracy mainly thanks to all the social sector and the NGOs. They are not just service providers, they are not just filling the gap, but they are the partners in the nation building itself. So in that sense, definitely it is a matter of joy and proud where you can definitely pat your back the one who is sitting next to you with their permission, right? That is how we should feel proud. We are the nation builders. We are the multiplier force. Next. Yeah, now, yeah, but if everything is fine, then you wouldn't be spending one day here. Ideally, you all are supposed to be working in the organization today. The organization that you represent, you are supposed to be there. But you all are here working for the organization, working on the organization. Why? Because there is some bad news also. If you look at it, I told like 5 lakh organizations are there in the social sector, at least more than a lakh NGOs. In that, 85% of the NGOs are under 3 crore, which is like it is water everywhere, not a drop to drink. So it's all split. Every NGO, they are kind of in a small pebbles, they're kind of small rock, they're kind of maybe a little bit of mound, maybe one or two maybe small mountains, but everybody dreams of an impact which is of Himalaya. But being a rock, what noise you can do, right? So it is not easy. So 85% of the NGOs, which amounts to again close to a lakh NGOs, are all small, under 3 crores. And then what is the funding gap? If we want to do those UN 17 the sustainable goals, the development sustainable goals, then 35 lakh crore funding gap is there in India, which amounts to another 12% of the GDP. If you remember, I said 25 lakh crore is the funding last year alone, but we need another 35 lakh crore if you really want to make that kind of a journey on all those 17 parameters. That is what Niti Aayog also recommended. That is the funding shortage. And then every individual NGO, if you look at it, if you do a survey, there are various surveys have been done. This is not the survey of every NGO, but some of the representative, you get a snapshot, which is close to 70% of the NGOs say they have a funding deficit. This year, yeah, we need kind of 50 lakhs to do this project, but how much is got funded? Only 10, maybe only 30. So that is where there is a funding deficit for 70 plus percentage of the organizations. 83% of the CSR of the NGOs, they struggle for getting the fund for overheads, the direct and indirect costs, the cost for the organization, right? When you collect 100 rupees, you need at least 10 rupees, maybe sometimes up to 20 rupees, right? At least kind of somewhere Youth for Seva, I remember we started with hardly zero overhead, then it became maybe 5, maybe kind of 7%. Maybe when I left 2 years back, it was close to kind of crossed about, I think maybe 10% or 10%, and they're still holding on to that. It is huge, by the way, for the volume. Operating the organization with only 10% overhead is an amazing achievement, but 83% of the NGOs struggle to get the money for those that cost. because they ask for the report that, I gave you this much, why are you taking that much for your own self, right? So this includes from the salary cost to running your websites and everything. Then almost this also no surprise, because we think again emotionally connected, why should I keep the money? But the resources are required. If there is no corpus, then we'll be in trouble. 73% of the NGOs don't have the extra corpus. So it is like honey honey tatwara, just hand to mouth situation. Yeah, this year we got and we are ending everything. Very hardly few percentage of NGOs will have that extra money so that they can continue, so that they don't lose their capable leaders and everybody. And then bottom right, last one, 70% of the NGO organizations have no succession plan beyond the founder. Founder has started, they know everything, and then let us not worry about anything. Even if the founder is also there and there is no succession plan for him, there is no org design or there is no plan in the whole structure about who are the next level 2, who are the next level 3. So there is no such layering and structuring, and there is no such thing at all. Even if that is there, there is no L&D budget, in a sense that you all come and sit here, right? So this is a learning program. Now, do NGOs spend time on themselves to learn and go to some training center, get some education, get some exposure? Just the experience alone is not sufficient. Then how much of the NGOs are willing to spend money or time? It is hardly about 20%, 20-25%. 73% of the NGOs, they don't have time, they don't have money, they don't have inclination to improve their own leadership pipeline, their own succession planning, their own org design. This is the bad news part. So there comes this paradox. As I said, there is lot of water, but not enough to drink. Everything is kind of spread everywhere. What is the bottleneck? What is the one single central paradox? Which is, this whole sector has all the people with lot of good heart and lot of compassion, but they become leaders, and then they are extraordinary leaders, but the ordinary NGOs, the institution that they build, or whether they remember their build or not, but then it becomes kind of okay. It also runs and limps and then goes back and forth. Doesn't really have that kind of a non-linear growth. So that is the reality of the core paradox of our social sector, where it is mainly because of, as you can see these two pictures, like the leader, it is not just, don't think that there's only the founder or something. It can be the L1, the leadership, the group who are decision makers, the steering committee, the advisor, the trustee, the MD. Don't really make only the founder as the guinea pig here. It is like those who are in the responsible position, they will cast a long dark shadow to the rest of the organization. As they say, ಆಲದ ಮರ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಅದ್ರ ಕೆಳಗಡೆ ಮತ್ತೆ ಯಾವುದು ಬೆಳೆಯೋಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ, ಆ ಥರ ಆಗುವಂಥ ಚಾನ್ಸಸ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಮೆನಿ ಟೈಮ್ಸ್ their personality and that aura building is such that without their knowledge, because they are in the front, the shadow is on the back, and so they don't know that that is happening. So then the people below them or the stakeholders, everybody, they stumble upon in the dark. Or sometimes what happens is, they think that they are the aura formers, they are the one who are in there, but they have become old in all sense, unable to adapt, become fragile. They're not anti-fragile. They're not able to really kind of stand up, not understanding what people talk on the back. Why is this guy still around? So that also may be happening. So that is where this is the paradox. And since I come from the corporate and IT background, usually we speak about innovator's dilemma. If I give the example, then it is simple. Like you take any kind of companies like Nokia and all, right, where they will start from here. Everybody buys telephones and it just shoots up there. So this is time and this is the money or resources and all. Okay, so it is time and money kind of thing. As you go further, suddenly you really make lot of everybody wants to buy the Nokia, and then they are all happy, the Nokias and then Motorola's, and then all the Palm Pilots are all happy, right? Yeah, the whole population into one Nokia phone means then this is not only like this, it will really shoots up like 90-degree curve, just close to the y-axis. But the reality, as you know, then Apple came and the flat, whatever the screen touching device came, and where is Nokia? Where is Xerox? Where is the Palm Pilot? Where is all those gone, right? So when it shoots up, and then why that happens? Because you drank your own success. So you are so happy. You are in that comfort zone. You are in that comfort zone where once in a while people come and say, hey, world is changing. A new wave has started. A new wave, which is really kind of, a new mountain has started. Are you not climbing that? And people say, no, 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 I know my beneficiaries, I know my funding sources, I know my right and left hand, I have my organization, I am sitting here, I am retiring, I spend so much of time. In fact, we have seen many people who come to NGO from corporate. I have even heard directly where they will say, I have come here to relax, I worked all the hard work in corporate, so here is the time to just do whatever I give back, whatever I do is giving back to the community. No, when you do like that, then what happens? There is a dotted red, right? You are plunging, you are hitting the rock bottom. And the other people in NGO space, we don't call competition, but the competition will take over, the whole ecosystem just moves you, you become irrelevant. This is called the innovator's dilemma, where you have innovated in the past and you are reaping the success and sitting there while others are running away. It is similar to that mola mattu the tortoise and the hare story kind of thing, right? You are all you're so fast, grown so and then you're relaxing. Then the others, it is not just tortoise, then it is the other cheetahs and all are running faster than you. Okay, so that is the situation that we are in. Yeah, you can go. So many times the leader thinks that I am born. The leaders are kind of just that I am the avatar, and it is natural for Indian ethos where anybody is extraordinary, we will immediately start attributing, oh, he must be avatar or he must be some special. So we all will do the puja so that we will be whoever we are. Okay, you do all the things, uge, you keep going, we will do all the puja, right? And with that, we think that leaders are born. But if you look at the history of everything, then it is leaders are usually, it is born, yes, so true, there is a seed, but then you need the mother earth to nurture, swabhava prabhava. So that nature, inbuilt nature would be only about 25% intrinsic, but other 75% will come through three other E's. What is your education, what is your experience, and what is your exposure? Okay, where all you are exposed to, what all your connects, what you really know and what you do day in and day out, and where are you getting educated and reinvigorating yourself again and again. That is like close to 75%. As there is a famous quoting from Adi Shankaracharya, that mother is 100 times greater than father. So the seed is only kind of 25%, maybe 10%, but it is that mother earth, the whole nourishing around it, that makes you the leader. So all of you have that kind of a humility, and the true humility, not in the arrogance masqueraded as humility. So you should have that kind of an attitude where you should also be lucky, you should also need so many people help, you should be continuously educating yourself. Then only that a leader is truly, of course he is born, every leader is born only like anybody else to some mother, but it is about how they are made. Okay, so if you notice recently, Spain won the World Cup, right? There are no heroes. I'm not saying that Cristiano Ronaldo or Messi are no less great, but then what matters? You have to hit the goal to win the world championship. So you're playing. You cannot play the victim card. Many times we play the victim card. ನಂಗೆ ಅದೊಂದು ಇದ್ದಿದ್ರೆ ಹಂಗೆ ಮಾಡ್ಬಿಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೆ, ಇದೊಂದು ಇದ್ದಿದ್ರೆ ಹಿಂಗೆ ಮಾಡ್ಬಿಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೆ. No, here the Spain team, there are about 11 world-class players. None of them we know. Okay, I usually watch at 12:30. I wake up and watch some of these matches. Okay, but then I don't know any one of them. So then you watch for the pleasure of that sport, and then yes, Messi is on the other side, but who became world champion? All these nameless people who worked together as one unit. Individually, none of them are, maybe not even 10% of Messi's talent, and then again the aura. But collectively, they have become world champions. And Messi, what do you see? His photo, I didn't get time to put that photo. He was sitting and weeping. Right? Of course, he was champion, last 4 years back. But the point is, at least in the NGO space, it is the teamwork that matters, the player attitude matters, and then not playing the victim card matters. Then only you can be the world champions. When that world championship happens, as you can see, there will be few people who want to claim the visibility also. If you know the story, the FIFA president tried to push Donald Trump, but he was not willing to. He wanted to be also in the photo frame. So it was little bit funny. But you should be also aware that there is always people who also want to take the credit. So you should be street smart about cropping. Okay, I didn't crop yet to show you the full picture. Next question. So leadership is never about being a Messi or Ronaldinho or Steve Jobs or something. For that matter, Steve Jobs is no more with us, but his company is number one today, right? Maybe very head and head with the another few. Anthropic is maybe the number one, number two. So Steve Jobs is he's not there, but he has set up an organization so strong because of that leadership shift. Okay, so that leadership shift is very much required for you to go to the next level. So it is no longer becoming hero founder, I have everything in control, and what are you, I'm busy 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 activities. From there you need to shift it to coach others and be an institution builder, bring the trust, which means can you empower, can you delegate, and then finally it is about outcomes, not about being busy. Usually in the corporate world also we say, I don't care about your hard work. Of course you have to do the hard work, okay, of course you should be smart, but what is the result? How does it help the bottom line? For us business, the bottom line is always the P&L with that one number. Did the customer increase, did the revenue increase, did the profitability increase, did the cost reduce? That's all that we care. Okay, of course attrition should be less. So it is all about those kind of KPIs. In social sector, you know what the KPIs are, right? It is the lives impacted, but how capable you are, have you impacted yourself? So those kind of things. Okay, and today's picture is also very complex, right? It is no longer about I felt emotionally strong, so I did a small, I planted a tree, I gave some money, I participated in that one volunteering effort, I felt very good, my Instagram had that many likes. It is no longer that. If you really want to build a world class organization, mainly remembering where India should end up, then it can't be like 85% of them having small things and all, right? It is like you should know who all are your ecosystem partners. It is huge. Okay, it is not just the top one, the communities and the beneficiaries, but it is the field teams on the ground. Government, they're in every step of the way. You cannot miss them. Corporate CSR also your bloodline. If you're depending on the implementation partner and the funds and the board, right? So they also set the governance, make sure that you're on the right track. And then there's a media, which is extremely important on the narratives, and knowledge partners and your ecosystem partners, and huge force of volunteers. So all of them, you should be in the center. So next. Yeah. Freeze ಆಯ್ತಾ? Okay. Yeah. So you have to invest in capability, because capability or leadership training, spending time on yourself is a force multiplier. It is again a corporate jargon. Multiplier means it's like a catalyst. You may know about enzymes and catalyst, right? If you remember your 10th biology and all, right? The chemistry and biology. So where the mere presence of some of those people, the energy gets elevated multiple times. So they just come. It's like Vivekananda or other famous personality, right? Just by their mere presence, so they don't change anything. They also don't get changed. But with the mere presence, the productivity, the efficiency, the energy gets multiplied. So 10% you invest in yourself. There's a saying in the Gita, Swalpam apyasya dharmasya trayato mahato bhavayat. Trayate mahato bhayat. Little bit of good things that you do, then it will help you for escaping the great dangers. How is it possible? It's like a lever, right? So little bit, and then the result is, it is f of x equal to x to the power of n. So 1 or 2 or 3 that you add, then the result is x to the power of 2, x to the power of 3. It is not x plus x plus x. It is x to the power of x to the power of x. So that is what happens. Here also, I was surprised to see that in the social impact, if you spend just 10% of your time in uplifting yourself, spending time on capability building, how does it show in the results? It is 2x, 3x. I thought, okay, if you put 10% effort, you should see some maybe 10%. No, it is 30%, 40%. So that is how it is. Yeah. I'll finish in maybe 5 minutes. It's 11 o'clock, so we want to give time to Anand. Okay. So it is a chain reaction. So it starts off as a capability, and then the capability creates a sustainability. Only when you are capable, then people stick around and they start delivering consistently. Hard work, smart work, everything gets delivered one after the other repeatedly. Okay, when there's a repeatability is there, then the trust gets built up. Then there is an integrity. What you say is what you did, and what you did is what you felt. So there is an integrity in your delivery. Then there is a credibility. Okay, if you say this is what it is, this is what SVYM is, this is what Youth for Seva is, then the credibility comes in because of those 20 plus years of repeated sustainable kind of investment made on your leaders. And then the brand reputation, just the brand name is good enough. Then growth, then definitely money will come, the resource will come, good people will come. From there, the scale. Then you can scale everywhere. Once you have so much of money, you can't keep giving it to again and again. Then you have to expand it to other geographies, other areas, everywhere. With that, you will have a lasting impact. When I say lasting impact, again, don't think, oh, then I can retire. No, the lasting impact is a chain reaction where it creates and attracts more talent who want to learn more and they want to stay. Yeah. So these are a few of the, I don't want to go deeper, but once you have invested in the leaders, then the organizations become extremely capable. And then what all the pillars of those organizations? These are the four. You should have a vision and mission. You should have a motto. Youth for Seva spent almost 3 days with the SVYM, and then we designed what our motto should be. And then what is your strategy? What's your execution? Execution doesn't mean that go and do the project. A plan for 3 months, what you do, and then follow it up. Finally, you need metrics also. How do you measure your success? Then you should have some org values and culture. This one, what people do when nobody is watching, that defines the organization's culture. If the boss is there, how they behave. If the boss is not there, when there is a salary hike time, how they behave, and then other time. So that is what the org values and culture. When nobody is around, how they're keeping themselves busy defines them. But that also needs conscious effort. Then systems and storytelling. So I remember, like when I was in Cisco in US, we were part of the IDRF, India Development and Relief Fund. The 2001 Gujarat earthquake had happened, and then we collected more than 10 crore of today's money, 100k US dollar plus we collected 700k. Okay, 700k US dollars. Azim Prem, his name is also Prem, Cisco executive. One person alone gave 100k, and then what? Then it was diverted. The money was diverted to IDRF. And then there's a Cisco Masala group where few people started telling the narrative that, oh, that is a right-wing organization. Oh, the money goes to some, Hindu fundamentalist. I'm very openly transparent telling you. Immediately Cisco woke up and stopped saying that, okay, the IDRF cannot divert the funds of whatever they collected 700. You should also invite other things. But in reality, the Gujarat artisans and all with that we donated. As you can imagine, most of those artisans are not Hindus. All religion people were there. So we helped everybody, but the narratives, we were one step behind. Then the other people jumped in on some random email group, and then that went up to Cisco HR, and they stopped those 700k USD, which is almost about 70-80 crores in 2 days kind of a thing. So narrative is important. Leadership, we already talked, it's also important. Yeah. So yeah, this is the future. I think we can skip it in the interest of time. I already covered that. Yeah, there is I told you there will be 3 actions. You already did one. You get to know who all are next to each other. I'm ending the speech in next 2 minutes, where that you should have 2 more actions. One is that, can you invest yourself to step out of this comfort zone and go into the stretchable area? Can you go into the stretchable area, which is you are comfortable because you have been doing the same thing again and again. You can be wherever you are. But there are some area which you think you have a little bit of exposure, but you never really spend time on it. But you should spend time on it because there is a much bigger unknown. We don't even know what the future is. So if you don't have readiness to stretch yourself out of your comfort zone, you will never going to catch that. So it is no longer you are not competing with your next NGO or some ecosystem, but you are competing against the irrelevance. You will become irrelevant. You will be ignored. You will be left behind. So you got to stretch. Next. So this is another one where I also call upon, we should do periodic org evaluation, yourself and your own org against this X and Y axis, where on the right side it is a plus. More and more capable people, high capability, the soft skills is on the X axis, and the top axis is, give me the money, give me the resources, give me the contacts. So that is what it is. Now for you or for the organization to be extremely respectful, you should be in the first quadrant, which is plus, where you have a lot of capability in yourself and the organization, and you also have a lot of good contacts and money coming in. Then you are a reputed, respectable organization. Any one is negative in other three quadrants, we get into these kind of states where you have lot of money, lot of resources, lot of connects, 10,000 LinkedIn connects are there with you, but then you are low on capability, you are lacking something within you as a personality, right? Then but the money is coming, then you may create envy in others. ಅವನಿಗೆ ಹೆಂಗಪ್ಪ ಆ ಥರ, ಆ ಕಂಪ್ನಿಗೆ ಎಲ್ಲ ದುಡ್ಡು ಹೋಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆಯಲ್ಲ, ವಾಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಹ್ಯಾಪನಿಂಗ್? ಸೊ ಪೀಪಲ್ ಎನ್ವಿ ಯು ವೆನ್ ದೇ ಥಿಂಕ್ ದಟ್ you are positive, but somewhere you are also negative on the overall capability, overall kind of scale. Did you do any influencing? Is there any conspiracy theory? This is really, nobody is there. I don't think anybody in this room or in this quadrant where it is negative, which means neither you are capable, the leaders are not capable, at the same time they also don't have any money because nobody trusts them. So, and then still they're also limping, right? Then that creates a disgust feeling in others, right? Which none of us are there, but I'm just, for the sake of completeness, I'm putting. Lastly, the pitiable state where it is like lot of capabilities there. I am really very talented. I started also, but resources are not coming, right? So that is where it is a little bit of pitiable that I am capable, but I'm not able to. Why is that? Because of, again, lack of connections, lack of applying that. Yeah. I think the next slide. Yeah. I think I'm ending. Next. Yeah, this is my last slide. So again, coming back to the Adhara Shruti or the keynote, now we started off with Vivekananda background. So, but finally, Vivekananda also said about man making, right? Only when you man make, then only you can do the nation make. Before you jump to that, building a big sustainable organization which impacts millions of lives, are you spending time on yourself, which all of you here today are? And from there, it should be a starting point. And then, as Vivekananda quoted from Kathopanishad, Uttishtata Jagrata Prapyavara Nibhodata Kshurasya Dhara Nishita Duradyaya Durgam Patastat Kavayo Vadanti. Arise, awake, stop not till the goal is reached. Thank you very much.